I'm now joined by Ato Boldon, only the third man in history to have won more Olympic medals than before him has been Carl Lewis, Usain Bolt, and Frankie Fredericks. Usain, you had Ato, I mean, you had a great career with representing Trinidad and Tobago, competing in many Olympics. Would you say you've achieved everything you would want to achieve in your career?
Well, I have that one thing that's missing, which is the Olympic gold medal, and maybe a world record would have been nice. But when I see the influence that my career had on young kids from my country and from the Caribbean and around the world, it's hard to say that I didn't do most of what I set out to do. I'm extremely proud of what I was able to do.
And Ato, you hold the national record in Trinidad and Tobago for the 50, 60 and 200 metres, 19.77 seconds in the 200 metres. Only Richard Thompson recently broke your record in the 100 metres. To hold those records so long, even till this day, must be something you must be mighty proud of.
Yeah, I can't go back and get any of them back. So the longer they last, the better you feel. But I actually would like to see my 200-meter record broken because I feel like we're a country of really talented athletes that we sort of ignore the 200. And the 200, not only is there nobody who's been close to my record, they're not even remotely close. Nobody's ever been under 20 seconds. So I feel like there's too much talent at 100 and at 400 for somebody not to have broken our record already.
And Ato, we all know about your famous rivalry with Maurice Greene. It was such a competitive battle through the years. And what are your personal highlights and memories of your great tussles with Maurice?
Well, I mean, obviously he and I getting first and second in the Olympics in 2000 in Sydney. But I mean, more importantly, I go all over the world, and just like you just said, people still remember, hey, we sort of long for the days when, athletes wouldn't duck each other and spend all season trying to find a way to not run against each other, where they would actually, line up and compete. And those days are long gone because now these guys are worried about their bonus money and their rankings, and they don't show up every week to run against each other. So I'm probably most proud of the fact that Maurice and I, every single week, just about, went at it, and it wasn't just he and I, it was everybody in the top 8 in the world. And I long for a time in track and field when we return to that.
And you think today, maybe in the 100 and 200 metres, there ain't as much competitive rivalry as there once was, with Usain Bolt seems to be gathering all the spotlight and the limelight. Maybe it's up to others to push themselves to reach that level, or just feel the level of competition was more widespread back in your day?
Oh, it was definitely better back in my day. I mean, every now and then one of my athletes will pull up an old race. I look at the race and it's Dennis Mitchell, Linford Christie, Bernie Surin, Maurice Greene, myself, Donovan Bailey, Frankie Fredericks, and they go, wow, essentially you would get the top 8 competing against each other, or some version of it, some combination of the top 8 or the top 10 or the top 15, every single week at a Diamond League meeting, or back then a Golden League meeting. When is the last time you've seen a really loaded race, certainly in the 100, that was not in a championship? And you cannot sustain a sport by having a huge race once every 2 years. It's just never going to work.
And Ato, I'm just noticing there are some of your personal achievements. Your personal best in the national record, 9.86 in the 100 metres in 1998. As one, you've been 28 times now. You've gone under 10 seconds in the 100 metres. Third only to Usain Bolt and Asifa Powell and Maurice Greene as well, actually. So 28 times being under 10 seconds. How much does that take out of the body, the demands of that?
No, listen, before I broke 10, I thought it was some holy grail. Before I broke 10 seconds, I thought it was some holy grail, some sound barrier that you broke through. And I had some awful races that were 999, a 998, a 997. So the ones that took a lot out of me were the sub 99, and I had a bunch of those too. The ones that are under 9.90, those I could feel. When you get in the kind of shape I used to be in, you could 9.6. But no, most of my sub 10s felt very, very easily. The ones I remember are the ones that were under 9.90. Those were a little harder.
And Ato Boldon, I noticed there you've been training American footballers there, basically the techniques and sprinting and stuff like that. How many do you think the development of athletes in other sports could learn from the way professional sprinters sprint? Is there a certain technique that would take months to apply, or is it all based on the leg movements?
Well, some of my American football players pick up the things that I teach them in the space of six weeks. Some of them take a little longer. So I don't know if that says that I'm a good coach, but I feel like most other sports are realizing that look, speed is a huge asset to have in everything. So those guys are usually able to pick up what I'm showing them in about 2 months.
Yeah. And basically, Ato, I know the 100 metres and the 200 metres, what you were famous for in the Olympics, but how being in those Olympic competitions and noticing the guys in the 5,000 and 10,000 metres, how much of a respect as athletes, as yourself in the short distance, would have for the people like El Garouge and people like that who ran the 5,000 and 10,000 metres?
Well, we have immense respect for them because one of my best friends in the sport was Haile Gebrselassie. So, and he and I were both at the same shoe company at the same time. So, I got to watch my friend win a lot of Olympic and world titles over the course of my career. So, I have immense respect for them. But I think that's part of what makes track and field great. Everybody has respect for everybody else. The distance runners look at us and they understand that, look, going from 0 to 100 in 9 seconds that takes just as much effort as running a 2:05 marathon. You have a bunch of talented people that are good at what they do, but no one event is considered above any other. Obviously, the 100-meter dash in the Olympic Games is a blue ribbon event, but that's because it's the most glamorous, and it's also because it's the shortest and the one in which you can probably recover from a mistake the least.
And Ato Boldon, are you worried for the future of your sport with all the scandal and developments that have gone on in the last year?
I am extremely worried, but I also feel like our sport is very resilient, and we've been through a lot of really, really tough times before. I do feel like this is the worst it's ever been. The scandal that's going on, just pick a direction between the Russians and the IAAF and so on. And my good friend Sebastian Coe has a real task to fix what's wrong, because there's a lot that's wrong, and he I do not envy his position right now.
And if you're looking forward to the Olympics in Rio de Janeiro, what would you like to see to come out of these games, the upcoming Olympics, in your sport, in the 100 metres and the 200 metres, especially in the track and field events?
You know what I would like to see, and it's not just in track and field, start paying the athletes. This whole concept of amateur, especially now that I see this from this side and I see how much we pay the IOC to host the event. I see how much the athletes have to, cry, sweat, and bleed to get there. Start paying the athletes. There should be prize money in the Olympics. It's not a novel concept. Let's put to rest this notion of amateurism. It's complete BS. These athletes are pros. They are sacrificing life and limb to get there. They have to be paid. So forget track and field. Across the board, if you are an Olympic medalist, you should be getting paid. Simple as that. And it should be good money too.
Yeah, and Ato, you were one of the few men to have won 4 World Championship and 4 Olympic medals. And if you look back in your career, maybe how does it still feel a sort of letdown that you didn't get that gold medal, or are you at peace with it now?
Well, there's nothing I can do about it, is there?
Yeah.
No, I don't wake up on a daily basis and think, the one thing I didn't do is get an Olympic gold medal. I was the first person to win, both the 100 and the 200 at the World Junior Championships. Nobody from my country had ever done that. I was the first world champion from my country, so I got a gold medal at the World Championships. That just happened again in 2013. So to look at what I didn't do is sort of to insult what I did do. So there's so many things that I did that I don't wake up on a daily basis and go, look at what I didn't do, because what I didn't do is a lot less than what I actually did accomplish.
And Ato, in the 2016 Olympics, is there anyone that we should look out for, maybe not a familiar name, that you think could really burst onto the scene in the short distance, in the 100 and 200 metres or 400 metre sprints this year?
Well, she's the world champion now in the 200, Daphne Schippers of the Netherlands. I think that she is about to have a coming out party in Rio that maybe some people see coming because she had such a great year last year, but I don't think people are ready for what she's about to do. I think she could potentially go home from Rio as the Olympic champion in the 100 and the 200 meters. It's very, very possible.
Yeah. Ato, it's been brilliant talking to you, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavours, and no doubt we'll see you broadcasting in the 2016 Olympic Games, giving your inside knowledge on all the events.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Cheers. Thank you, Ato. Bye.
Okay.